Oh, great. Whatever's easiest for you. That's fantastic. All right. Thank you, everybody. Hi, welcome to this July 2025 meeting of the Transportation Committee, our last meeting for the summer. We won't meet again until September. Let me just go through our standard preamble here. The MCB4 is a hybrid policy that can be found on our website. Board members are expected to attend meetings in person unless they have a disability and or extraordinary circumstance. Excused members and members of the public will still be able to participate virtually. Members who are joining via Zoom must leave their cameras on. This meeting is being streamed live on our YouTube channel, and transcript and being recorded. Great. So we have a shorter agenda tonight, which we're excited about, although I don't like to jinx things, so we'll just take it easy and just take it agenda item by agenda item. But let's do what we usually do, just go around the room, introduce ourselves to those who are joining us here in the room, and to those who might be online or will watch later. So my name is Chelsea Mercantile. I live in Chelsea, and I'm one of the co-chairs of this committee.
Christine Berthe, co-chair, Constitution.
Andrew Miller, member of the committee, Hell's Kitchen.
Ellen Markman, member of the committee, Chelsea.
Rodney Washington, member, Chelsea.
Tina Nelson, Hell's Kitchen member.
Alan Austin, member, Chelsea.
Liam Buckley, member, Hell's Kitchen.
Pete Diaz, member, House Kitchen.
Great. Awesome. So happy to see you all. Let me not delay things. Oh, sorry, people online. I'm sorry. Charlie, David, go ahead.
Hey, I'm Charlie Todd, a public member of Hell's Kitchen.
David Warren, Hudson Yards.
Yeah.
Who's that guy? Who's that guy?
Who's the nine?
Not forced to make all right, let's jump right into it. We have some members of EDC with us here this evening in person, and I see at least one online. They'll be giving us a presentation on the first agenda item tonight, which is their traffic mitigation plan for the Manhattan cruise ship terminal, which we are excited to hear about. And obviously the materials we've already sent over are very detailed and really interesting. So I'm excited for the presentation. Just so you know how this goes, you guys will give a presentation. We'll ask some questions if we have any. We'll open up to the public if there's anyone online. If they have any questions. And then we will discuss, our takeaways internally, and then we'll vote on some sort of resolution. So without further ado, if you don't mind, if you're going to present, if you just come up front and stand sort of to the side of the screen, and then just speak loud enough so that the camera and microphone here can hear you. But if you don't mind just coming forward so that for the front of
And I did speak too soon, I'm having trouble with the Zoom.
Oh, all right. So Janine, do you mind, we're having trouble with the Zoom, so do you mind uploading up the presentation and clicking for our presenters?
Sure, just give me a moment, it might take a second. You have to download. No problem.
And while you are doing that, you may want to introduce yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, everyone. My name is Tara Duff. I'm with EDC's Government Community Relations team. I work with the cruise portfolio, so usually I'm at the Waterfront Parks and Environment Committee meeting. We were just there last week. But this is our first official EDC cruise attendance at the Transportation Committee, so thanks for having us.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Matt Joseph. I am a senior project manager at EDC. Mainly working on transportation planning related projects. So I was part of the team member that developed the mitigation plan for Pedestrian.
Hi guys, my name is Subir and I'm the assistant vice president for cruise portfolios, and I oversee the two cruise portfolios, one in Manhattan, one in Brooklyn. So.
And we have one more person online for EDC.
We go as.
Yes. Hi, everyone. Allison Dees, also with EDC on the cruise portfolio side, heading up the cruise team for the city with Sidir and others.
Thank you very much. And were you able to hear our your colleagues when they were speaking?
Yes, yes, I was. I'm sorry I can't be there in person this evening. Thanks for having us tonight.
No problem. So as soon as Janine gets ready, we'll.
Sounds good.
I can do a little preamble, if that's.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, sure, and also just to remind the member, there are documents in the Dropbox that you should have in front of you.
Yeah,
Be able to
you
pull.
got something.
Yeah.
Sure, so this is in the presentation, but for the sake of time, I can provide a little bit of an introduction for why we're here to present today. So EDC is the overseer of the Manhattan Cruise Terminal, both cruise terminals, but for your district Manhattan Cruise Terminal. That means, fantastic. That means we manage the operations on we have an operator there called Ports America. As we'll talk about today, there are several different work streams here. The community traffic mitigation plan, though, is in its first year of being produced and having a public comment period. It was first introduced through legislation by Councilmember Avidas and Botcher last year. This is the first year of it being implemented. So our rollout of it was the first time ever that this is being done. So we'll obviously take questions and feedback at the end, but would love to work with you on how to improve just that process as well. I can jump right in. Thanks for
She may not hear that you're.
Okay, do you need to go to the next slide? Thank you. So we'll provide an overview of the terminal and EDC's role. We'll then get into how the Manhattan Cruise Terminal planning efforts are beyond just the traffic plan. We'll talk about the other aspects here that we're working on and how they interact. But then we'll get into the meat of the community traffic mitigation plan, which is the reason for this presentation, and obviously take any comments and concerns you have with the traffic plan or just your experience with cruise traffic overall. So next slide. Great, so this here is an overview of the roadways around the cruise terminal. The cruise terminal, we'll talk about it, is piers 80, 90, and 92 primarily. And so that goes from 48th Street up to 52nd. So as I'm sure you know better than us, this is a complicated jurisdiction here. EDC is the lease administrator of the Manhattan Cruise Terminal. We have Ports America as the on-the-ground operator, so they're the ones booking the cruises, managing staff to manage both pedestrians and cruise passengers coming in and out of the terminal. But then in terms of the roadway network, we have the Department of Transportation having jurisdiction on the streets, and then State Department of Transportation who oversees 12th Avenue. We then work with PD in terms of the traffic enforcement of things, and then Hudson River Park Trust operates the greenway. So when we're talking about, mitigating traffic, there's a lot of stakeholders here that we have to coordinate with. There's obviously the work that EDC can do with Ports America to improve traffic circulation in the terminal, but there's a lot more work beyond that to coordinate our efforts with when we're talking about long-term planning. So if we go to the next slide. So just to break it down, the traffic mitigation plan, as I mentioned, really just fits into this piece here around legislation, but there's other efforts going on here. So Sudhir works really closely with Ports America to continually monitor the operations. When a cruise ship is in, think through what is the best way to manage passengers coming out, buses coming in, taking passengers in, and that kind of thing. And then in parallel to this, we are undertaking a longer term master planning effort. And I think I recognize some of you who have come to our workshop, so that this is a longer term planning exercise. The cruise terminal is very old, the piers are 9 years old and at the end of its useful life. So we've been undergoing a master planning process over the past several months to think through how to really redevelop the terminal. We've had I'll go to this next slide, but we've had a couple of engagements already, but as part of that, thinking through how to improve the transportation network overall. So just to kind of visualize all these different timelines here, obviously our ongoing terminal management is forever. We're consistently trying to improve. So anything we hear tonight, obviously we're gonna take into our general management of things. The master plan started at the end of 2024 in terms of our public engagement. We had 2 workshops in December and January. A lot of the feedback there that we got on transportation is obviously informing our efforts in the short and medium term as well. but there will be eventually a third workshop that we share and come up with a proposal for a redevelopment plan. And that will have more larger scale interventions to rethink the traffic flow. The legislation here, at least within this year's publishing of it, we have been working with it, a consultant team to collect data on traffic and study, analyze that information to think through more immediate interventions. So interventions that we can do with our Chelsea Mercantile team, interventions that we can continue to talk about with our other agencies, state and city DOT to improve. And so the traffic plan really took all of that work, all of that study and put it into a report that outlines all of that. As part of the legislation, public feedback is a necessary part of it, so we did have an official public comment period. That was just a portal on our website. We did not get that many comments, understanding that this is the first year of its rollout. We're still kind of working out some of the kinks to make that a steady process, but beyond the public comment period for the legislation, we're obviously always all ears. But then we took what we heard, updated the traffic mitigation plan, and then the official thing went out July 1st. So the traffic mitigation plan itself will be updated annually, so next year will be probably a similar thing. May will open up a public comment period and make any tweaks that happens since the year. So that will be an annual exercise. The master plan now will outline more of a longer term proposal that we would then take out to private infrastructure partners, cruise lines, other potential partnerships to invest in this big tech. So go to the next slide. So the community traffic mitigation plan specifically, as I mentioned, a legislative requirement for local law 54. This really was more of an initial assessment of opportunities for us to improve. So what we developed here was more of an outline of different potential strategies, not that everything will be implemented. A lot of the things that came out of this plan are for further discussion. But it is a good initial document to really outline the different strategies here. Go to the next slide. I'll pass it to Matt to talk through how we went about this and how we came up with it.
Sure. So yeah, as I mentioned, we have a series of traffic mitigation strategies that will be laid out in the plan. In the next few slides, I'll go through some of the methodologies of how we came up with these strategies, as well as when we are planning to implement them. So in terms of methodologies, as I mentioned, we had our data collection period that in summer and fall of 2024. We collected traffic data, including traffic volumes on the West Side Highway, greenway users, as well as pedestrians crossing 12th Avenue, and kind of came up with a overall baseline condition of the traffic conditions surrounding the terminal. Additionally, we've also done some field observations, ground observations of our pickup drop-off zones that are both inside and outside of the terminal, and find some conditions that we may be able to improve throughout some of the strategies that we laid out. And I think one thing to really keep in mind is some of the traffic strategies are really conditional in terms of we'll be deploying it when we see that there's a strategic need, depending on the traffic conditions of the cruise terminal and the surrounding. So some of the factors that may be related to those conditions would be overall passenger counts of the cruise terminal. So if we have a certain number of cruise passengers in the terminal, we can anticipate increase in traffic volumes. Some other things include special events on and around the cruise terminal, road closures, constructions, and all those conditions that may affect the traffic conditions and traffic patterns. We'll keep that taken into consideration, decide where we can deploy these traffic strategies. Go to the next slide. So throughout our initial data collection and traffic observations, we sort of came up with identified three key locations that we want to focus our strategies in and conditions. The first one is traffic cruise passengers crossing the Greenway and 12th Avenue. So in our current layout of the cruise terminal, the cruise passengers that are leaving the cruise ships, picking up taxis or looking for ride-share vehicles, must cross the Greenway and 12th Avenue to go to the taxi loading zones on the northbound side of the West Highway. So we've observed several conflicts around passengers crossing, and cyclists and other Greenway users may potentially be not obeying the traffic signals there. Sometimes with the limited space that we have, we see that cruise passengers are often, within the Greenway, impeding our path of travel. So those are some of the things that we saw, we really want to focus on, because that's a safety issue that we do address. The other thing that we saw is the general circulation efficiency within the terminal. So these things we'll be addressing with our terminal operator to improve our pickup drop-off zones, as well as our parking and general travel lanes within the terminal. The last one is overall vehicle congestions on the street. So we see two different main locations that we experience this. So one of them is on the left turn bay on the 55th Street. So this is the main entrance for passenger vehicles that are entering the CT and cruise terminal when they're traveling northbound. So northbound vehicles must take the left at 55th Street and a section of 55th Street, cross over to the service road. The southbound side next to cruise terminal and enter the cruise terminal that way. We've seen some traffic backups there that often may be backing up through 54th Street and the next block, which impedes the travel lane of northbound West Side Highway. The other one is as I mentioned, the taxi and rideshare pickup zones on the northbound side of 12th Avenue, where it's a general disorganization that we will improve there as well. Slide. So the series of traffic mitigation strategies, we overall divided into short-term and medium-term strategies. Short-term strategies are mainly focused on what we can do by working with our terminal operator across America to improve the conditions, and working and coordinating with NYPD to deploy traffic enforcement agents at key intersections, so we can improve the traffic conditions, greatly manage pedestrians crossing, bring traffic, as well as in the travel lanes on 12th Avenue. So we're actually actively working with NYPD to create a sort of deployment plan for traffic enforcement agents, as well as traffic managers. We want to quickly place agents wherever needed to ensure that it's safe, passive, efficient traffic flow surrounding the episode. Next one again is the circulation efficiency. These we're looking at improving our signage and firefighting within the terminal. This will just generally improve travel conditions for vehicles as well as passengers. So reduce overall traffic condition inefficiencies within the terminal. The last one is more of a internal roadway update. So we're looking at clearly lining and striping the internal streets, actually improving sharing space within the terminal, preventing any backups that may happen to the local streets. Go to the next slide. So these are the medium-term strategies that we again will be assessing with our partner agencies. We'll look at the feasibility as well as the effectiveness of these strategies. But some of the main things that we want to start looking at is the traffic signals. So as I mentioned earlier, when the cruise passengers are crossing 12th Avenue and the greenways, the current signal cycle is generally inadequate in terms of it's maybe a little bit short for pedestrians to fully cross the greenway as well as 12th Avenue. We want to work with DOT and other relevant stakeholders to see if we can actually extend the cinema cycles there. Other things we're looking at is traffic diversion strategies. So as you can see on the map here, this is what I explained a little bit earlier of the vehicles entering Manhattan Cruise Terminal traveling northbound. So they generally have to make a left turn at West 55th Street, cross Gulf Avenue to the other side, and kind of make a new turn into the Cruise Terminal entrance. One thing we can do to alleviate this is to create a traffic diversion strategy where we actually guide the traveling vehicles to the other side, guiding them through 57th Street or 56th Street, West 56th Street onto 11th Avenue, and then turn around and travel up West 55th Street. This improves the general traffic flow on West Side Highway as well as preventing left turn lanes into the terminal. Will be a straight shot from West 55th Street. Still have to the left going south, but it's the key location where it alleviated. And also improves the capacity, queuing capacity, general travel traffic. So yeah, these are some of the ones that we want to be exploring with our agencies to implement.
And I would love to hear your feedback, so we have community coordination up there too. But so to summarize, if we go to the next slide, as we talked about today, this plan mostly focused on the short and medium term strategies. The short term, we are working on implementing that with Ports America. Medium term, that is what we're exploring more with GOT and PD, but obviously, especially for those that are thinking about, diverting the traffic through 55th Street, something that we would love to hear feedback on. And then as I mentioned, the longer term plan, which we are not talking to in this presentation, but we'll be able to share more once we do host a third workshop. We'll identify other more significant interventions to address a lot of these pain points. So that is it. We'd love to hear from you all.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you for a very detailed presentation. It's much appreciated. So, do we have questions from committee members? I see at least one. Go ahead.
How confident are you guys with the, so there's more volume at one of the drop-off zones than the other. How confident are you guys that that's a signage issue as opposed to just, that's the one that's closer to the terminal?
Yeah, that's a good point on the end of the answer. So I think it's gonna be a combination of both guiding the vehicles to the right location as well as signage. So on top of the signage improvements, we'll be having agents on site that will be actively guiding the vehicles to the less congested side. So that will be an active management of vehicles within the areas. So it'll be a combination to make sure that it's really efficiently moving.
I have a slew of questions, so I'm sorry. In general figure, you said that you're going to implement things based on strategic needs. And the way you define strategic needs is the number of travelers. The way we define strategic needs is the need of the community. So how are you, how will those two things get reconciled? Because, you could have not a lot of people crossing, but if there are 10 or 20 pedestrians from the community crossing, I'm going to say, okay, well, we don't care.
Yeah, no, it's a good question. I appreciate you distinguishing what that means. And I would say when we talk about it, we're always, we agree with you that it's always a strategic need in terms of a community.
So don't say it next time. What we say it sounds really bad.
I think the distinction there is more of when, we've seen this in Brooklyn a lot where we have one plan in place. Every time we see a big cruise ship in,
Right.
That will change once we see a smaller cruise ship in, and that changes once we have a marathon running at the same day. So I think it's more of like the degree of how much
Volume.
extra coordination, how much people.
But you should add to that sentence so that we don't get upset about it. there are two things that I'm not seeing. One is there is a huge amount of idling trucks. And I don't see anything about that. Are you going to deploy enforcement, NYPD enforcement to get them to stop idling? They are between 54 and 56. There is a side road and they lay over there waiting to load the ships, etc. So Vera put that in his notes, which was a very good thing. So
we have kind of addressed at the source, so the way we tackle this, some of those are reefer trucks. These are like refrigeration trucks. They have special permits to idle a bit. But we were working very actively with the cruise lines themselves to have a provisioning plan that doesn't require for them to come too early. We've made some good progress. I've seen personally reduction in those trucks being there, but we continue to work with them.
well, and the other thing you say, they are special condition because they are
reefer trucks.
refrigerator, they have an idling, they have special engine for that.
Correct.
So you should insist that they equip their trucks with the special engines.
Correct. So we have reached out and made it very clear that this is the law, you're not allowed to idle, and we are working with PD as well to issue them tickets and send a very strong.
Who is sending, how many tickets have been
I don't have the
issued?
numbers, but we had clear communication with our PD coordinators. But I have a meeting with them tomorrow as well.
But the PD coordinators, they need to send the unit from Brooklyn. Are they sending that unit? Because we have the same problem here, and if they don't send the unit from Brooklyn, nobody gives tickets because they are supposedly not knowledgeable. So you can talk to them and they can tell you that you are wonderful and we are all friends, but nothing is happening.
Yeah, let me take that back and I'll come back with you with a firm response on.
Please add that to your plan.
Yes.
Short term, that should be really short term because it's easy to fix and they should get a lot of tickets.
Yeah.
Without getting tickets, you're not going to get the other aspect of it.
Agreed.
Okay, and then the next question is the pedestrian path. My understanding, the pedestrian path is really narrow because of those gates that were put for 9/11, right? So can't you just move the gates? That's a short-term thing. Take the gates, you hire a guy, he moves the gates, done.
You mean like that gates that open?
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
so they are kind of wide. It is how intense. So this condition only lasts for about 2.5 hours. I'd say about good an hour and a half when the D-bar or people coming off is at its peak, which is like 8:30 to 9:30. So they do let them.
Then
They're coming too aggressively.
I'm talking about the people on the greenway, not your people, our people. This is where, the perspective is important, right?
Or you let them into the terminal.
No, I want them to widen, I want you to open the gates or remove the gates.
So the greenway itself also do have speed reduction,
But that's not what I'm talking about.
You have to be more specific, well, I'm actually having trouble following what you're.
I think we need to open a vision, and when we were doing the long-term plan, this was one of the major requests, so you should know where it is, it's the.
Yeah, I think we're talking about like the northern side, right?
Yes.
There are those gates.
Right.
And I remember when we looked into this, because this came up, we did a walkthrough with community board a couple years ago. It was,
It's a huge issue.
The 9/11 requirement for it was something.
So this is something you can do today.
Yeah, I know we've, I forget the actual reason for it, but I really.
No, it's further up,
Yeah,
it's further up.
but I remember, I thought it was like a federal requirement, but I can't quite remember.
Yeah, this thing, the closure there. I mean, I think this is a major requirement, and when you are talking about improving quality of life and safety, because right now what you have is a lot of pedestrian walking on the greenway. So it's not safe. So I know your people are safe, but our people are not safe. So we really need to reset this whole study and make it equally important for our people and your people.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so the green, that fence has to move ASAP. So that's, and finally, you talked about the pedestrian traffic managers giving tickets. And that doesn't work like that. The pedestrian traffic manager never gives tickets. If you want people giving tickets, it's a different unit inside NYPD. So the pedestrian traffic manager, they wave their hand and they look at cars and they tell them to go faster. That's all they do. They don't stop cars, they don't do anything else. So you're going to have to think very carefully of what skills you want at one intersection to do what.
Yeah, sorry, I don't think we find that the traffic enforcement agents would be handing out tickets, but it's really.
When you said that.
Focused on, and some still apologize.
Okay.
But we're really focused on making sure that the traffic crossing as well as the travel, vehicular travel is really.
But you still have a problem because the traffic managers from NYPD are only going to wave cars to tell them to go faster. And if there is an intersection, they are going to wave them in the intersection. So that, you know, they feel they are doing their job. So this is not the people you want. You need people like the Sam Schwartz.
So I'll jump in slightly here. We have two different types of kind of human bodies there. And one of them is the NYPD traffic, which I think is what you're referring to. And I think most of us, our experience with NYPD traffic is what you're referring to in terms of like pulling the cars through. Over the past 2 years, we've experienced this in Brooklyn. With a particular ship call, we've set up something, I guess, sort of different with NYPD traffic, and a lot of their role is actually holding cars so that pedestrians or cyclists can pass. So they've been doing that kind of role that I think I hear you describing a little bit, and that has been effective. We also have the Sam Schwartz / other kind of other traffic enforcement agent consultants that we have available to us. They're also there.
Traffic managers, not enforcement.
Sorry, folks. Someone's supposed to be with his father right now. Sorry. Hold on. Let me mute and holler. Hold on.
Yeah. All right. If you understand.
Okay. I'm sorry. I think he's just here right now. I'm sorry. But I thank you for the comment. We're very much interested in trying. Thank you. Solving for both what kind of the private folks that can really manage and the pedestrians, and then also the traffic, the NYPD traffic, which has been explained to us by NYPD traffic, are the only folks who can actually like stop a car, pull them through a light, tell them not to go through a green light, things like that. So I think our biggest point here is that we're kind of intending to use both in similar ways, but in different ways. They have different skills and different abilities.
Okay.
Yeah, and
I'm good with it.
within the traffic plan, we also have a map of the initial deployment plans where we identify some of the key intersections.
Did we get a copy of it?
Locations.
Yeah, we emailed it out, but I can get the certification.
It's also slide actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll have to send it.
Yeah, I think actually it'll be
Okay.
Janine, if you can pull up the very last slide that shows that map.
I see that Charlie has his hand raised. Charlie?
Yeah, thank you all so much for the presentation. I appreciate it. I really like to see you guys advocating for longer signal timing for pedestrians, because that's something that not only benefits cruise ship passengers, but also the community who crosses and uses this connection. And I just wanted to echo what Christine said about the the non-cruise ship passengers, but the pedestrians, the community members who do walk the Greenway in this section. If you look at the Greenway from Pier 25 up to Pier 97, however many miles that is, the worst part of the Greenway for pedestrians is from the Intrepid up until Clinton Cove Park. So basically the Manhattan cruise ship terminals. So if that gate needs to move and we need to have a real space for pedestrians there. I wanted to ask a question. If you guys, what I haven't really heard in this presentation is anything about public transit connections. And I know that's perhaps because there's not enough, and maybe that's something that we need to be advocating for more. But we're talking about, which for-hire vehicle taxi stand people are going to, but we would love people to not be getting into private vehicles at all. Is there a shuttle that takes passengers to and from the terminal, or are there public buses that do so, or could we advocate on your behalf for more transit in this area?
I see Allison nodding her head, but I can start with it. So part of the shuttles for cruise passengers are operated by the cruise companies themselves. I don't have those numbers we used to do and Allison have, but most of the cruise lines operating here do have some sort of shuttle. It's definitely something that we're thinking about in terms of how to make sure that we are reducing as many personal vehicles as possible. I think one thing that we consider is that Manhattan or the cruise terminals in New York City are a drive-up market, so there are a lot of local people coming in, but how can we start persuading people to take other forms of transit, especially for that last mile of sorts. Allison or Sudhir, I don't know if you have more to add to that.
So that's correct. So a lot of the cruise lines have what is known as pre and post packages. People like coming from overseas, they like to use the hotel or what have you. And we like to see more of that because it kind of has a larger economic impact. They go to the restaurants, they spend money and things like that. So there's also pre and post. And then a lot of people are just like fly away. So the cruise lines will have bus shuttles that take passengers in Hulu. As high as 50 to 60 buses, you have 2 shares that throughout the day will take people in groups to the airport. And obviously the passengers pay for it. But it is in benefit of the cruise lines to have more of those as well, because it just generates revenue for it. So we hear you that, and that is something that we constantly work on, how to move people in blue and reduce small vehicles. It's just like Tara said, it just so happens that for New York, our market is very intense on driver market. People like to drive, and we try a lot of different, and there's a lot of lessons we're learning in our Brooklyn. We're using ferries, we try park and ride. This is like all recent in the last year or so. And we will take all that and see how we can apply it in a short term, and definitely those points will be considered when we look at the future.
What about the disincentives to drive, meaning, I mean, first of all, I assume it costs to park there, but are there costs associated with even pulling it in? Could there be? Would that be, first of all, a good way to generate revenue on your end, but also to disincentivize people from using their own private cars? And assuming you do that, I assume the private cruise ships will then want to turn around and start offering more shuttles because they want to compensate for the fact that their passengers probably don't want to pay for just driving up. So is that something you considered?
Yeah, we piloted something with our cruise lines up in Brooklyn, and we're still testing the consumption rate, how many people are really taking it. We didn't see much, so they're giving like group transfer shuttles to like Penn Station, Grand Central, and Times Square. We're kind of close here, so we do get some pedestrian people just walking with their bag. You see that they go to Times Square themselves and they check into hotels. Or vice versa, they stay in a hotel and they will opt for like a bus transfer and come in groups from the hotel to we're seeing a lot, and this demographic changes so much. So we have to be very dynamic. And again, like you said, we absolutely need to work with the cruise lines, and we continue to work with the cruise lines to have different packages that work during peak seasons, low season, when they see a lot more European travelers versus domestic travelers. So it has to be very dynamic in what strategy we apply.
Have you reviewed the information that the private cruise lines put out to their passengers in terms of like stressing in their boarding procedure process, like, hey, driving is not gonna be that fun. You're gonna get stuck in a lot of traffic and it's gonna cost you all this money and tolls and all these things. Here are all the other wonderful options, including all the public transit we have nearby. Have you reviewed that? Have you signed off on that? Have you?
Yeah, we also try to leverage those messaging in our own cruise NYC using advocating for public transportation. And then there's a lot more work to be done as we continue to work with the cruise lines. But yes, all of the strategies and any of those recommendations, I think Allison is going to.
I guess A few thoughts. So number one, I just want to emphasize how much we agree that this crossing and this greenway is just awful. And here, we are also New Yorkers and probably users of this area, and it's just abysmal. And I think, I know this presentation and the reason we're here tonight is not, and Tara, forgive me, but this is not about like presenting the master plan. We are going to the waterfront committee for that. But I do think it's worth saying that, you know, a big part of why we are so focused right now on the future of the Manhattan Cruise Terminal and this sort of master plan is we're extremely constrained in space and sort of what sort of band-aids and solutions we can do. And so this master plan, really a lot of the genesis of that is about like improving the traffic flow so that we can actually bring a lot more buses into this terminal, so that we do have spaces to make all of that, so that we can create a lot more space here for the greenway and a walkway and things like that. So with some of these things, you know, I just want to be careful, like we're really focused on it right now, but we're focused on the short. Some of these solutions that we have in mind are really going to take a different level of intervention. And that's completely what we are focused on, and want to be able to deliver here at this site. And then the last point is, I would say, you know, one of the things that has been interesting, I think, for us to learn, we've kind of taken a lot of learnings from Brooklyn. The one area that we're really focused on is trying to reduce the amount of, let's say, Uber or for hires. It tends to be that those trips, they come in full of passengers, but depending on when they arrive, because of the timing of the ships, they're leaving empty. Folks who are actually coming and parking, you know, so that's like 4 trips, right? So there's a vehicle that's coming and then it's leaving empty, and then it's going to get those same passengers a week later. Let's say it's arriving empty and it's leaving full. Folks who are coming to park are actually not maybe the worst offenders. Like if you're really trying to target the most, like the lowest hanging fruit first, it's really trying to get folks to go and come with a full car. If it's not by bus or something. So we're pretty short on parking here. So that's just another dynamic that I just think it's worth kind of sharing with everyone as you're thinking through all of this with us. We certainly have plans in the master plan to try to address a lot of these issues though. And we'll be focused on everything we can in the short term.
I also wasn't sure. Thank you very much. Charlie,
Yeah.
were you finished?
I just had one more quick thing, which is the detour into our neighborhood.
Yeah.
Not a huge fan of sending traffic down 57th Street, down 11th Street. We have DeWitt Clinton Park over there. Also 55th Street is the only protected bike lane leading into the Greenway, and at least in the Hell's Kitchen part of the neighborhood. So I guess I would just like to hear a little more about how bad this left turn situation is, and that it would also, I guess this might be a bright side for me. Everybody would have to pay $9 in order to take this detour, because they would enter the congestion relief zone, which our neighborhood is called. But yeah, I'm just curious the thinking behind that a little bit more.
Yeah, so again, that's something that will be still need some evaluation to do. We've had our initial elections around the volumes of energy substance. And this is where so that dynamic approach comes in. These type of divergence will only be used when it's necessary. So this won't be like an everyday occurrence when we have free ship in the terminal. But if we cross some lower threshold, then it may be actually more beneficial for you know for surrounding as well. So that's the type of.
Do you have a sense of what that threshold is? Like how far back is it? Like what is the?
Sometimes it can be a little bit like ad hoc, like we see in Brooklyn is like.
Really small. It won't be a permanent diversion. It will be just for a few minutes, we'll wait congestion and we go back.
Yeah, so like a TE,
It's like an intervention.
Traffic's not moving, let's start doing it, and then.
You can't do that.
Sorry?
You can't do that. You can't just move. The NYPD is going to install big bulky stuff, so it happens, and then it's going to be there for one day. They are not going to entertain the concept of.
You were successful in Brooklyn, we've done that.
And signage.
That's the bus.
That goes on.
Yeah, but this is just
Right.
process everything. may work and I'll work again, there's a lot more,
But again, it's the congestion, I'm just not sure, are you, like, is it the issue that the congestion has blocked up the West Side Highway? Or is the
Yes.
congestion just that your passengers are waiting a long time in a long line? And now you're trying to send them into,
It's the West Side Highway.
okay, which is still not, something for us to think about, but.
Yeah.
I appreciate the fact that you're not saying that that's like your overall solution and all the time, that it's meant to be ad hoc. I appreciate that.
half an hour, and then once, like I said, this anomaly or this surge happens from 8:45 to 10:30, 11, and then it's really quiet. We don't have any of those conditions.
Okay.
Cruise lines are also working with us, I guess, specific cruise line that is gonna be in tomorrow. They have time to arrive. They give them a time slot when people should arrive, that further reduces, so they give them specific time that they can come. If they come early, they don't have to check in. So that has come a long way.
That's helpful.
So,
And if you found that's helpful with one,
Yeah.
maybe that's something we could
Correct,
incorporate
so
in all the other.
yeah, so a lot of the cruise lines are going, tech forward and everything's gonna be automated and facial rec is there, so there's a lot of, technological advancement that's happening in how the cruise lines separate. You probably see similar glimpses at the airport as well.
I think we got a couple more questions, I saw Pete first and then Cody.
Yeah, in one of your slides, thank you for the presentation. In one of your slides, I saw a number of people gathered, clustered along with baggages. I can envision, another edition coming in, vendors, for example, some tickets, like for tour guides, like we do on 8th Avenue. And that's a lot, they'll be walking on foot and selling various tickets for different venues. How do you intend to handle that? And because for one thing, that's gonna bring a lot of people, and it's gonna be a lot more people gonna be clustered around buying tickets from these individuals.
You're talking about, I know I've seen this definitely a little further south, people doing the bus tours and that kind of thing.
Exactly, and they're gonna show up there eventually, and it's just gonna be, I got a ticket for you, it's $20, and before you know, you're gonna have a lot more foot traffic there, and it's gonna be congestion. How do you intend to handle that? Because it's gonna happen.
So we have PD that we work very closely, and there's one of the supervisors which lands in the median. He has close eye, he doesn't, so that gate area and the terminal is what is known as the MARSEC level 1, it's a high security area. So nobody's able to sell anything that is not authorized. You're not able to, if you're not authorized, you cannot go in. They don't even let we like to call them gypsy drivers that are unauthorized.
Oh, okay.
They're not allowed to go and pick up either, so selling a product or selling a ticket or like the top view kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's not gonna happen. It's never happened, it's not gonna happen. I'm pretty closely following that, so.
Liam.
Yeah.
And Tina, and then I'm gonna close it off after that. But
I apologize if it's like a common knowledge question, but
Yeah.
why are why is the rideshare pickup and taxi pickup across the street? And why are the levels of the cruise ship terminal, the second being no access, the first being like employee parking, and the third being some parking, why is that not more effectively used? Why is the second level no access? Why do they have to cross the street to get the taxis?
I think that's a.
The second level is actually for taxis, and we've been working with them to have the yellow cabs to go up to the second level. It's just changing their behavior, as we know, a lot of them just don't wanna go up. And then if we don't have them pick up, then we face with another problem, we have all these corrupt people nowhere to go, so. How much can we flex, but we are in constant conversation with them, you're correct. So that is one of the anomalies that we found, and we want them to go up the ramp, make that turn, go up the ramp and pick up, yellow cabs go up. And if you go there maybe tomorrow or one of the days when we have cruise ships, you'll see we've already made some changes. There is like a building, it's called the Glass House.
Yeah.
And so, all the Uber and, authorized Uber go on the other side, yellow cabs are getting picked up. It was like a big congestion, we've made some progress. But eventually we do want the yellow cabs to all go up to the second floor, go to the ramp and pick up people next day. we having struggle changing that behavior.
And
Give a dispatcher?
can you,
Yeah, we made the Force America works very closely with the dispatcher and try to we get some going out, but we'd like to see all of them go out.
can you give them an incentive to go out? Like, you know, a $1 truth or whatever?
Or if you take that back, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, at least
Whatever-
change the behavior and then
Whatever
after that.
incentive.
Well, faster pickup is always the incentive, if they can get passengers faster and get out of there
Yeah.
faster, that is incentive.
Yeah,
What about like also just like removing the taxi stand? Like,
we're thinking about that, so we definitely, all these angles will be looked at. As we go on and as we get these comments more and more, we'll try and see if we can apply those interventions. Great.
And then we're gonna, open public, give one question.
Yeah, I just need clarification, because I heard 8:30 to 9:30 and then 8:30 to 10:30. Are you saying that those are the most popular, the most intense times for people to cross?
So what happens is, when the ship comes in, they have to go through the immigration and custom process, so in the morning, people are like relaxed, and everybody starts. The intensity picks up around 7:30, 8, and when they go through immigration, they're all coming up.
So I have a question, because I did hear that, right?
Correct.
It just seems that period of time, people living in the neighborhood, are walking to work or biking to work, or driving, well, hopefully not driving to work. So I'm sort of curious why you're scheduling or you're allowing these people to come in at that time, because it seems counterintuitive, you would want to pick a quieter time.
So the ships have their own itineraries built out, there is the schedule that they have to abide by. And when they come in, there's this fuel efficiency, there's like a whole programming that they have to work around. And they have to arrive at a certain time and leave at a certain time to get to the next port they want to go at a certain time.
There's
So
a lot of it is around the tides. So they have to come in with a certain tide that is coming in at a certain time. And that's the number one factor that they're trying to get around. But we can certainly talk with them about, flexing, but I would say generally it is they pick up their pilot around 6 a.m. depending on when what that tide cycle looks like. And they ride that tide in and then they wait until it's slack and then they come in. But we can certainly take that back a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I just follow up on it just to see, what they would say if you said, hey, can we shift a half hour earlier or whatever it might be, just see what kind of pushback you get, if not. Yeah. Great, I'm gonna, see if there's anyone online who, we don't have that many people with us this evening, actually. Just Miriam, do you have any questions? Hearing none, thank you, Miriam. All right, so, assuming we're ready to sort of close this out, again, thank you so much for the presentation, answering all of our questions. It is really interesting, and obviously, there are a number of different ways to tackle this and a number of different issues, so we're excited to keep working with you on this. We are going to write you a letter, as we do, with sort of just summarizing our conversation here and proposing some of our ideas. Just to quickly recap. Well, actually, before I do that, is there anything else anyone wants to say, suggest?
One other thing, I know you guys mentioned that you're in conversation with Don about their Route 9A, like the statewide study. But I would just encourage you to take a look at that public comment. There's a lot of public comment about this cruise terminal. So I know you guys didn't get a lot in your website form, but like you do have a lot of public comment about this. So I would encourage you to consider that as public comment.
Great.
Thanks, John.
Just to summarize for the committee, sort of a letter that we'll be sending you all. We've got issues of looking at idling trucks, moving the gates, different types of traffic managers, longer signal time for pedestrians, focusing on public transit connections, advocating for the cruise ships to actually put more info about the public transit, focusing, which you're already doing, focusing on less on, or focusing more on the for-hire pickups, And thinking about, where to put those pickups and drop-offs. We're probably gonna push back on diversions into Hell's Kitchen. I think the language in the letter will probably say, we don't love that. And we'll ask you to look at other solutions. Time to arrivals. The supervisor standing, this will be kind of summarizing my bad notes, sorry guys. Yellow cabs at the second floor, instead of to go up to the second floor, removing the taxi stand, consider changing crew search schedules, so they said that's possible, and looking at other public comments, and what else we got?
You didn't mention what was the implementation horizon for this short period. You said, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have an exact schedule for the implementation, you know, we're working with the different DOTs on this, coordinating with 9A, so at this time, we don't exactly have like a timeline, so this is happening when. But definitely would love to keep in touch on when we do have updates then.
Okay.
And also I forgot, I noticed, obviously you guys did your traffic study pre-congestion pricing, so, right, and so you'll have to. Unfortunate for you, right, spend that money again and do it again, but I assume you'll do that. Okay, that's sort of it,
So do we have a motion for?
A motion for that letter?
That letter? Motion, yes.
Great, thank you, second.
Second, okay.
Okay, all those in favor of writing that letter?
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you so much for the presentation.
Thank you for so much, anyone, thanks, Charlie, Bessie, thank you. Yeah, thank you guys so much, really, spending an hour with us, we really appreciate it, and just, so thank you.
Yeah.
And we're very excited to this problem to start. We're slowly resolving. Great.
Yeah.
We are now moving on to football. We'll get some fans on in this. It's like they shut down the AC.
They did?
They do this every time we're here. The AC goes off at 6 o'clock, which is why it's 1,000 degrees in there. So, our second item is a request to relocate the M20 and M7 bus stop away from the Chelsea Mercantile entrance on 7th Avenue. So I believe Mr. Campbell, are you here for that? Is that your presentation?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you very well. If you're here for that, on that, feel free to take it away.
Sure. Well, thank you, committee, for hearing this request to relocate the bus stop that is located on 7th Avenue between 24th and 25th Street. The bus stop is actually in the middle of the block, which is directly in front of the entrance to that building. The Chelsea Mercantile, along the bus route, which I think is on the west side of the street, is the only residential building in Chelsea. I'm sorry, on that. It's the only residential building on that block, and the bus stops directly in front of it. It causes people are using the awning of the building as the bus stop. There are usually people who are gathered there. They leave debris there. Most importantly, the cars are not taxis, and Ubers are not able to stop in front of the building because they're afraid of being ticketed. So they often will get their passengers across the street. Passengers would have to cross. They shouldn't, but they do cross in the middle of the block in order to get their cars. The bus, if there is a bus that is pulling up to the bus stop where there is a car already parked, the bus will stop in the middle of the street, and passengers will then have to board the bus in the middle of the street. Again, the building is located on 7th between 24th and 25th Street. I have lived here for 22 or 23 years. Originally, the bus stop was closer to the corner of the block on 25th and 7th Avenue. I'm requesting that the bus stop be moved to between 26th and 25th Street, which is just a few feet away, so that it's not stopping directly in front of the building, or moved one block south to between 24th and 23rd Street. I may be able to even share.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. And also, do you mind actually just, and maybe the photographer, do you mind actually just introducing yourself? Are you representing the building? Are you a resident of the building?
Yeah, I am a,
Go back up or down, not.
Yeah.
right, so I actually live in the building. I am co-chair of the House Committee, and have been a resident here for about 22, 23 years. Are you able to see what I've shared?
Yes.
Yeah, so this would be a view from in front, from within the lobby looking at, and where you can actually see people boarding the bus in the middle of the street, right? Let's see if so this is, you're looking at 7th Avenue right now, and to the left is the 25th, and so this is 7th between 24th and 25th. So this is the awning where people usually stand under to wait for the bus. And this would be a car, a taxi in this photo, but often Ubers also are parked there, or forced to park across the street. And so people are literally crossing mid-block. Let me see if it's good.
Yeah.
Wait.
Can I move to another photo?
Yeah, please.
Sure, thank you. Share. So here is a photo of the building standing across the street. So here you're looking at the entrance to the building, and this is to the right would be 25th Street. To the very far left, where you see the taxi, would be 24th Street. And the bus stop is literally in front of the building.
So we got it.
Yep.
Yeah. So let's see.
So,
Can I ask a clarifying question? Where was it before?
It was on the corner of 20.
Like in front of Whole Foods
and
or?
yeah, like close up on the corner of like in front of where Whole Foods is now. Is that what?
Well, no, that would be where Whole Foods. Well, Whole Foods was on. Well, Whole Foods is on the corner of 24th and 7th, and there was also Whole Body, which is the part of Whole Foods, which is no longer Whole Foods. It's Amazon.
North or south, north or south.
It was at on 20, could you just say which corner of what street and what avenue it was before?
It was on the corner of 25th and 7th Avenue.
Which corner? Northeast, northwest?
Northwest.
Southwest.
You're saying the northwest is what you're saying.
Right.
The Whole Foods.
Yeah,
It's where the Whole Body was and now it's something different.
Whole Food.
So it was there. Right? It was right there on that.
Now I bet you're not sure that's why they moved it.
Okay.
So I'm just wondering if it would be possible, because this is really the only residential building on that block. Is it possible to move it just one block south or one block north?
23rd Street, no, they don't want to.
Yeah.
I know.
One south and one avenue.
Is that, may I make a comment on that?
Yeah.
So people came a long time ago and there was a mix. My reason for moving it would be not the comfort of the building, but because the people who stop with the bus cannot get ADA, cannot get to to the curb.
Right.
They cannot get on and they cannot get off because they are taxied, et cetera.
And it's a great.
And I would move it to, what did we discuss on
In front
the
of the Bank of America or in front of the?
Bank of America?
Mhm.
Like across the street.
Right.
Usually-
Because the other one has a water, a hydrant.
But across the street isn't a,
Yeah, no, like across the street.
It's still in the
One-
floodplain.
one right way.
And then there is no delivery at Bank of America, right? They
Mm.
don't deliver.
So I think,
Money.
I think that would probably be fine.
I think that's what we propose and we see what happens, you know?
I mean, I guess the only thing is now, I guess it's a block.
So that's a right turn, it's a right turn,
It's a half block.
It's a half block away, yeah.
Yeah.
you wanna move it to the north corner?
Well, no, because I don't want to move it too far away from where people
On the
actually
north.
want to get on the bus or off the bus.
West.
You wanna put it on the other side of 25th Street?
No, the bus lane, the bus lane is there.
What?
We-
Northwest corner of 25th and 7th, where Bank of America is.
Right,
But,
but
yeah.
25th Street is a right hand turn, it's a busy street.
Yeah,
So
so,
you're saying.
No,
Wait,
Buses
it's a bus lane.
buses generally don't stop on north, they stop on the south.
yeah, but on the south side, you have a hydrant.
But it was there before. How long ago did they move this?
It was moved many years ago. I'm thinking,
I mean,
Mm.
15 years.
no, maybe 15
Oh,
years
okay.
ago, 5 years.
No, that's.
15 years ago.
I mean, I just don't,
Well,
your concern is, sorry, just so I understand, your concern is that by putting it in front of Bank of America,
The cars are
sorry,
gonna be
trying to
going
make a right
around
turn.
a stop bus.
But they shouldn't be in that lane because it's a bus
Right.
lane, right? So,
They're not in that line, you see where the cab is?
yeah, but so it has
So
to,
the cab is gonna
But
make
you
a
know
right
what?
turn.
But you know what, if we propose that location,
Mhm.
MT is going to choose the location, they're not going to necessarily
Or
accept
the leaf,
the location, so we can just go and say, it needs to be moved. And we think this location is eligible, you know, and it's probably good, and let them move it somewhere, exactly.
So-
That's good.
anyone have any questions or comments?
Motion.
No, wait, I actually do want to, Miriam, if you do want to weigh in on this, now, feel free. Miriam, nothing?
Nothing.
Should we put something in the?
Okay.
No, and then we ask for a shelter.
Right.
Well, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I was just saying, we're asking for a shelter and a
And a
bench
garbage,
if we're providing
yeah.
it, so, there we go. David,
Yeah.
do you have a question?
Yeah, just quickly,
Oh, there it is, but in front of it, they don't move
we
it.
have to figure out, the Department of Transportation or MTA, the reason why they did this initially 15 years ago, there might be some rule or regulation that we can't figure out. I mean, it's too bad Colleen's not here, but maybe we
No,
could
I
ask.
think we did it because of.
Yeah, because Whole Foods wants to be there.
Because they have all their deliveries, and so
Yeah,
they need a
that's
truck,
exactly
I'm
right.
sure
they
that's
need
why.
truck space, and then the bus was in the middle, that's my guess.
Hopefully you actually like the entire block, except
Right.
for that one,
Yeah.
in the middle.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
All right,
So-
so that's that, do we have, motion
Just-
for?
Sorry, Jesse, I just wanted to briefly point out, this is where the stops are for the M20 is one of the buses that stops there. It already lists it as 25th Street, which is interesting. I guess it's between 24th and 25th.
Yeah.
But there's one at 23rd and there's one at 28th. So us moving it up to that Bank of America shouldn't really affect things.
Shouldn't make a difference, yeah, and I'm hoping no one would be, it's not a residential building, moving it not in front of another residential building.
I should
That'd
say
be-
that it is a rental building, but the entrance to that building is on 26th Street.
Yeah, right, exactly, thank you very much. All right, so I think we will write a letter, recommending a move, is there a motion?
And the shelter.
And a block shelter and a bench.
Okay.
We got the bench, we'll remember the bench,
Second.
motion,
Motion,
second, all in favor?
yep,
Excellent.
okay.
You're very, obviously we can't promise anything, but we will make the request and, we'll see what happens.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for the presentation, thanks for bringing it to us. All right, well, that concludes the public, the slide presentation for the public. We do have some additional new agenda item, but may I ask, I'm sorry, are you here for a specific item?
Well, I came because of the churn on Dyer Avenue on 47th.
The
So this could be new business,
new business, yeah?
right?
Okay, we
let's
might have some time, actually, so, just hold on, we'll come back to you both. All right, who we got next up is the knowledge transfer presentation, intercity bus permit application.
Missing in action.
Who's supposed to be doing that?
This is Max.
Oh, all right, so we're
Missing in action.
missing in action, we don't know where Max is, hope he's okay. But that means we skip over item 3 tonight, great. Item 4, pedestrian ramp bus shelter canvassing. So first, I begin by making a big thank you to everyone who went out.
Yeah.
I think I'm just personally curious like what people's takeaways were. And then I just wanna talk about, I think we still have a few more blocks to canvas. We didn't quite cover everything, so it's gonna push to September. But Christine in September we're gonna send her all of them, and she'll talk us through on how to do it. We're gonna send her all the things that were on the list that were automatically generated. It's not gonna be like, it's gonna be hard. And then she's gonna compile it for us so that when we send all of our documented issues, we can set them all together and see what the final count is and all that stuff. But I just wanna say, just for my personal takeaway was just one, really going in and observing, and oh, right, like, you think, oh, they're out there, curb cuts on every corner, what else, what's the problem? But no, they're really like so many cracks, so many are not ADA, up to ADA standards yet. The ponding is ridiculous. And my other big takeaway, which I would love to figure out what we can do more with, was just like how incredible this app was. I thought it was like so easy to use and so smart on just sending it. No, really. No, I told you this yesterday. I told you this yesterday, but it's true, like how good it is. Like, I want my friends to know about this. Like, hey, you always feel like there's this when you feel like you call 311, you just feel like it goes into the ether. But this doesn't, it makes you feel like your complaints are not going to nowhere because you can because of the number of selections that you can make of all the different people your complaint can go to. And it's so easy to use, and I think more people should know about it. So I'd love to figure out how we can get the word out there and all that stuff. But what other takeaways do people have from our canvassing?
You have to provide umbrellas.
Sorry. Yeah.
Provide umbrella. You wear
How else are you gonna determine the following?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
true. Yeah, we got the day after it rained, the day after.
So you need to make a weather report.
I will send it next time it rains, which is all the time now.
Oh, you go out now.
Yeah, you go out now, go now, and we'll get umbrellas.
I was surprised at how many corners had ADA.
Yeah.
Well, on the west side.
So the 88 done.
Yeah. I found it so inconsistent.
And Dewey.
I couldn't figure out. I couldn't figure out how they I feel like one corner had it, and then the complete opposite corner was it made no sense to me how they came up with that. Anyone else, any takeaways? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with Alan. I was actually impressed with the number of ADA sort of compliant. But also I think as a community board member, I actually felt really good that this is something that we were doing. This is tangible. I can see it can make a difference. And there were sort of gaps where ADA, the sidewalks and curbs were not compliant. So I actually felt good that I was, and again, what you suggested, so easy with the app as opposed to, I'm not calling, I'm not saying that, I have a picture, I can show it, it goes out to 311. I know they received it because I get feedback from them saying, we got your complaint, and it made it so much easier. This is really something where often we don't see the work that we put in going out to the community. This is something I know that I did, and I said, if I was I am a community member, but someone take the community board doing this, I'd be very pleased that my community board took on this.
I am very excited to publicize our work when it's complete. Yeah, that's part of it too. I am.
I actually got a call from DOT. You got a call from DOT?
You did it. Did you really? I probably ignored
I got a call from DOT, said, why are you sending so many?
And then he called me, and I called the developers, and I said, stop sending all that stuff. He was testing it, so he was sending and receiving.
DOT said, why don't you just send one corner And of course, we'll check all the other ones. Isn't that sure?
Of course.
No, because the thing is, the wonderful thing about the picture is there will always be evidence now before and after, and the date that it was bad and the date that it was being like, we always did.
That was funny.
You know, you have two out today.
No, I was just gonna say the simplicity. is
Yeah.
So
Yeah, oh, good.
amazingly good, it's that,
See?
seriously, and I just,
It's so good.
I was so good leaving a restaurant with friends. And I stopped to take a photo, and they said, where you take a photo? But they said, can I have the app?
Yeah.
You told them.
And I gave them the app.
Here we go.
obviously. Yes, going back to what you
Like,
said, it's.
One day we're going to do that with Charlie, you know, we need like an event where everybody passes it down.
No,
to other people, right?
I mean, when it's ready, Christine,
No, yes.
like when you tell us it's ready, like
Right.
I would like our committee to pass it, like
Right.
whatever, just call for. Figuring out ways to get the word out about this
But
app,
we know
whether
that
that's
we-
going to newsletter,
If and when-
our city council members, our elected should be putting this app.
Store, like when you
Yeah.
search through
Yes.
one app.
Yeah.
This one should
This
show up.
one
as
should
actual
show up.
one.
should be
Well,
ready
let's
to-
if you guys like it, you have to start liking it. so it
Sure,
goes
no,
on.
so we should.
No, we can hate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't.
Otherwise, I have to pay money.
Yeah, well, we could ask 311 to make this more of an official, but maybe, who knows, like, there's any number.
I like it. What are you talking about?
How do you like it?
No,
Like,
no,
go in
no.
and rate
I
it, you
think
can
you
rate
can
it
rate the application.
on the
And
Apple
if you
Store,
rate it alone,
It's like in the
then
app
it's
store,
not.
yes.
in the Apple Store.
That's a lot.
Because there are other things which have been downloaded 2,000 times.
Sure.
Okay, well, looking at ratings.
Anyway.
So just moving forward, just to close this out, so there were some, we do have some of the squares that were not done. And by the way, we know who didn't do it, because we got receipts. I know we got your email. So I'm gonna go through now on this. I'm gonna just ask that if you think you have time and ability to do some more over the next 6 weeks, can you just raise your hand now and I will assign them out if there's separate, okay, so thank you very much appreciated, you'll get an email from me.
Check.
You have to do your.
Yeah, no, I know, are these additional ones or are these?
No, it's like taking.
I'll sign up to do the one I already did it too.
So you're coming forward and acknowledging.
Yeah, no, I just, but I'm signing up for a second one, I already.
Who's gonna assign people here, so you're gonna be here?
No, I'll do it, yeah, I have 2 months.
You have 6 more weeks, yeah, you had 2 months already, you guys do.
I know.
It's so hot.
No, it was hot, it's hot, and honestly,
Miserable.
alright, that
That was
closes.
the only downside.
Yeah,
Well,
right,
like,
that heat, yeah, maybe some September, so that's that, I'm so excited, I can't wait to get this all together in September, I love this, maybe it's another project that we did.
Okay.
Oh, Miriam,
Miriam.
go ahead,
And
Miriam.
Miriam should download because she can report
Yeah.
all the
Shelters. the bus stuff.
ADA, shelters, bus stuff, all the stuff, but I can brief her on that.
Yeah.
She went away. No, Miriam,
Miriam's here.
you want to talk, Miriam?
I think she's having a problem.
Yeah, we can't hear you.
Yeah, Miriam, we can't hear it, try unmuting yourself again.
No. Okay,
Miriam, alright, so,
I want to give a little update on the Port Authority.
okay, we're doing updates.
Oh, no, well, we want to do this.
Oh, yeah, why don't we do, yeah, why don't you guys go with you
Yeah,
first
new
before we
business and then I'll do.
So 2 items of new business, and I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name.
Joe.
Joe?
Castiglione.
Oh.
Somebody invited me to this, I don't remember who.
Perhaps
And the
Janine.
name I had was Janine.
Yeah, probably
Janine
Janine.
did that.
Yeah, that's great.
So,
Do you mind just standing up and just speak loud enough so that the microphone in the middle of the table can pick up and,
I have one thing,
okay?
on the traffic coming out of the tunnel on Dyer Avenue. People from New Jersey and elsewhere don't know you can't turn right on red. And there was a sign, and it's not a sign, I can't pass it to anybody who'd like to see it. The sign saying no turn on red is parallel to the street, and so you see a car driving by.
Parallel. Oh, like literally, like that's funny.
And
Oh,
it's
this is
very dangerous
That's funny.
because
That's such a useless sign. That's so great. It's a useless sign. Okay, yeah.
it's,
Send it over.
Well.
Yeah, send it over to us.
So anyway, I
That's
had
so
a
good.
couple.
So you want the sign?
You want the sign?
Is that better sign or?
Bigger, bigger.
No.
Bigger, better, sorry.
See.
Right.
So this is on the southeast corner of the, it's facing the
Yeah,
parking.
facing the garage,
The
yeah,
garage is over there,
yeah,
and it's on the other side,
right.
where the Dyer Avenue people come in. This is, we need to get them to change the signal.
Yeah. It could be a
We
bigger
need to send a letter,
That's.
which does two things.
Oh,
One
yes,
is-
wait, everyone was supposed to, because this is the proposal for the letter, so
Right, the
Christine.
letter needs to say two things. First, you need to reinstall that sign and make it bigger. Second, you need to change the signal timing so people don't get into the intersection when there is no space to go. Yeah,
Okay.
right?
That is a letter. Do we have a motion for that letter? Motion second. All those in favor? Looking online, look at those guys. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you, great, that's it. Thank you so much.
We are all with you.
So interesting.
That's it. Yeah, you should apply for the board. if you-
Yeah,
Right.
criminal and all
Right,
of that.
you can come and attend all of
You
them.
can come as often as you want.
I will. I
And
will.
normally in the fall and winter, it's cooler here too, so, you know.
No, it's a lot, I really appreciate it.
Okay,
It's Sunday,
so-
one more new business, time for it.
Right.
Please.
Hi.
And then you should reintroduce yourself to.
My name's Matthew Robinson, I'm part of CCBA and I live in Chelsea and
Spell it out for people who don't know.
Where is that?
CCBA.
Understandable.
what does it mean? No, I'm just started.
Coalition.
Chelsea Council of Block Association. You have to do the letters, you know.
Why do I know? Just been there.
All right, we got visuals.
On paper.
That's fine.
What's that? Okay, let's do this side.
Oh, there's more. Oh, there's space.
Everything in G.
There you go.
No, it's 14A, it's certainly looking back, it says direction 15A.
Oh, number one correction, it's supposed to be 14A, okay.
Okay.
Are these all corrections?
No, some of those are something happy, that's fine, okay.
So
These
it's.
are- these are just- yeah, these are just-
Okay, well, I'll circle around to this map later. The 14A and the 14B eastbound does not stop at Fifth Avenue. So when we did the 4th Street busway or whatever, they
Right.
eliminated stop, never gave it back. We want it back. There's no reason why now that's shouldn't be back in service. So right now, if someone's in a wheelchair, has to go to Fifth Avenue, make a connection, they've got to stop at Sixth Avenue and then walk one block east or one block west. And that, so someone who's young, it's very easy, okay, it's a block, no big deal. Someone who's in a wheelchair, someone who is elderly, that's a big difference. So if you had to go to Washington Square Park, or if you wanted to go to Hooper Square, you would make that connection at Fifth Avenue and 14th Street to go to those locations, and can't do that now. So that's an important thing to do. Another thing with the 14D, now that the Twisted Building is finished, the 14D should go back to 11th Avenue. where it
What's
was,
the Twisted Building?
the hotel and the one Highline.
17th and 18th Street.
Oh, 11th Avenue, 11th, 10th, 17th and 18th, 5th Avenue, 10th Avenue, and 11th Avenue.
Where that park is, they're trying to build, right? The plaza.
Correct.
The plaza. Oh.
Between 10 and 11?
Right, so what used to be, the 14A would follow the route of the N12 and stop at 11th Avenue and 11th Avenue, whatever, and 18th Street. Now it doesn't. Now it does 10th Avenue and 14th
So
Street.
you want to go back to what it was?
I wanted to go back to where it is,
Right.
also where it is presently in another month or two, definitely within the year. That block front will have as a construction site. And that will be built.
I'm totally confused.
Okay, on 10th Avenue between 18th and 17th Street, there is a construction site that was just sold. And then that will,
The east side.
between,
East side.
on the east side, between the
Okay.
diner and I think it was once of.
Used to be the park restaurant.
Yeah, but what we want to do about what?
Oh, what I'm saying is, it's not, what I'm saying is when you move it back to 11th Avenue, you eliminate the problem that's going to happen when that construction's there, they're gonna have to move it
Okay.
anyway.
So you're saying, let me try to.
Sure.
You're saying between 17 and 18 on 10th Avenue, where was the original construction that caused the thing to move?
Oh, that's the twisted building, we're in the building.
Which is where?
On the west side.
Or one high line, or is it?
It's on the, yeah, it's on the west, it's on the west side. And there's a plaza there that they're constructing as well.
Two buildings.
It's on 11th and 18th.
11th and 18th, okay. So 11 and 18 construction caused the stop to move to where?
10th Avenue.
To 10th Avenue, and now you're saying it should go back
It should go back into because the building now
to
is
11th to where?
and 18th Street. And then make the turn on 18th Street heading east. And then you can continue with the route that it was always.
11, 18, on 18,
Correct.
on 18th Street.
And so now the building is fully constructed, there's no reason why we wouldn't do that. The reason for.
I get that.
And the reason for doing it is you have more accessibility to Pier 57, also to Chelsea Piers.
Yeah.
And also picking people up from Chelsea Piers, bring them back to the east side.
Okay.
Also, the M12 stops, its route is 2 buses per hour, which means it's every 30 minutes. What I'm saying is that it's very easy to add one more. If you add one more, it's every 20 minutes. If you add 2 more, it's every 15 minutes. So, and that's a critical route when going to the convention center or to Chelsea Piers and, and a bunch of places over there. So right now, the M12 is lacking in terms of its connectivity to the people in the neighborhood.
Okay.
Okay, also, okay, the last thing, besides the map, the Fulton houses, which is up for grabs or what's going to happen. It is very important to understand that the roadbed east of 9th Avenue is 30 feet and west of 9th Avenue is 40 feet. The roadbed.
It's impossible, which was one roadbed on 9th Avenue.
No, I'm saying, sorry, the streets, the streets that are.
The sidewalk.
The perpendicular streets.
Right.
Cross Street.
Right.
Cross streets. Once you cross 9th Avenue to go east.
East.
I'm sorry, to go west.
Right.
It becomes 40 feet, the roadbed.
Right. And so.
And behind you, it's 30 feet.
And so.
So when you're looking at the development of whatever's going to happen at Fulton houses, whether it is renovation or whatever. You might want to look at the sidewalk and say that the sidewalk could be increased to 15 feet. Rather than the present 10 feet.
Right.
And if the buildings are, and if the buildings are super tall. You want to have the sidewalk being as gracious as possible.
Right.
And stuff.
I think we said that for the DEIS. We put that in the DEIS.
Okay.
Without not as much specificity as you brought to us, but yes.
Right. Okay, now with the map. What this is doing is. When they were talking about the 14th Street busway, they didn't talk about where the village should go to. So right now, the 14A goes to Avenue Square. When you see the bus make the turn going to Hudson Street, a lot of people get off, and then no one else goes any further. There is absolutely nothing that goes to the Whitney Museum, nothing. So what you can do is, if you can imagine the bus going in front of the Apple Store.
Wait, is the red on here? Red, what are we,
That's
sorry,
okay.
red your proposal?
No, the red is the actual route, it is the proposal and the actual route. It's a combination of both. What I'm saying is that you go. When you will say 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's where I'm saying it should go, and then in the other direction, it's A, B, C, D, going back in the other direction.
Okay, so this is what we're going to do. First, you're going to draft the letter,
Sure.
okay? And then this whole thing, I remember the 14th Street. It was like a massive eruption about Abington and whether it turned or not turned, etc. I suggest we table that. We
Okay.
write that first letter, and then you come back with something which says this is the existing route, this is the new route, and we have that discussion, but you need to have a lot of community support to do that, because it was just a major issue at the time.
Understood, and this was just like, I said, I'm just popping by and gonna ask a question if it's possible. So this was just really again, so it's people graphically understood the problem that happens. If you wanted to go to the baseball field, the soccer field, the beach, Pier 57, Pier 59, any of those places, there's nowhere from you to get from there.
Okay,
back
but
to
what the problem is
Union Square.
that your drawing, which is, I know you did your best, but the drawings, we don't understand the drawing. So you need the drawing which says, this is the way it is. And then in the second one, we said, this is the way I want it.
Right.
Because right now, we're
looking at this, we're going over, but.
We don't know it.
Completely understand, but essentially what I've done is the letters 1, 2, 3, 4 gets you to the.
Yeah, but we don't understand that.
I understand, and again, this wasn't really fully to present, but.
So let's table that.
Yes,
This is a good idea, but.
It's just so that you can graphically have something
Yeah,
to
two
look.
issues. One is a drawing we can understand, and second, you need a huge support from the community in order for us to pick it up.
Understood.
Okay.
Understood.
Meanwhile, the other things, I think we can, M12 add 2 buses, I think. Everybody.
14th Street, not dropping at Fifth
Right.
Avenue, was Fifth Avenue in our, I mean, we still ask for it, is that in our
But no.
district? Right,
So we can talk about Fifth Avenue.
yeah, we might not.
Right, it might be able to direct
But
that.
this service.
The problem to the other community board
Yes, we can do that.
as being problematic because.
We can reach out
Oh,
to, we can reach out to
Service to
people.
our people,
What's that?
the service to our community.
To
You can say
those that are
people
reasonable.
going there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We can,
Yeah, okay, so we can write a letter, but you need,
Yes, this
I'll
is,
send you the notes and then you can write the letter and then I'll look at it, but it needs to be done tomorrow.
last thing, they find what you were talking about accessibility in terms of the corners.
Right.
I was walking the other day, a couple weeks ago, whatever, with Jesse. You should look at the corners in terms of it being as if you were in a wheelchair. And
That's what we're doing.
no, but what's, the problem is that most of the intersections are not ADA compliant. They actually violate ADA
No, we
compliance. I'm just,
No, he's listening because he has a, go ahead.
Yeah,
so what happens is, most of the ramps are not perpendicular to the street. They're,
At the corner.
they cheated,
Yes.
and did 1 instead of 2. What happens is, when you're in a wheelchair, you don't have lateral movement of your head. And so in many cases where you're in the bus lane, the bike lane is a blind spot. There are many people that are in a wheelchair and, wheel gain and a whole bunch of other things. So when you look at those corners, imagine yourself as if you do not have the lateral movement that you need. In many cases, it's in the wrong location because they were saving a few dollars and not looking at it in terms of where the bike lane is. And what used to be is when the bike lane wasn't there, you had a car in
okay,
its place.
but what we need to do is to go back to the lawsuits and the settlement of the lawsuit and see whether the issue of corner or not corner is part of the lawsuit, because they are doing all of this because there was a lawsuit and they settled. And so if part of the settlement is we keep the, you know, the ramp at the corner instead of the angles, then we don't have any chance of getting anything done. So this exercise we are doing right now is leveraging the result of the lawsuit. So why don't you go and.
Oh,
check
no,
the-
I understand that, but I'm just saying that to all those that are canvassing, try to imagine yourself as being that person.
No, but Christine's point is simply that it's not something we could actually ask for them to fix unless it's part of the settlement, which is a good point. So if you don't mind potentially checking that out for us and see if it's part of the settlement. And then let us know, and then we should incorporate that. I think it's a great point, but I just don't.
I'm just saying that can be incorporated.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you so much.
We appreciate it. So we are going to make a letter asking all these little changes, not so little, right? But all these changes so that the buses are more.
So the 14th Street, not up Fifth Avenue, it's 14B should go back to 11th Avenue and 18th Street. M12 add more frequency, which I'm sure we've asked for before.
Yes.
A million, like the M11 and 12 really asked before.
Yeah.
And the full houses, look, they're gonna be separate, and the increasing sidewalks, we're not gonna do that, that's for, like,
That's it.
and that's it. So we can do that,
Yeah.
we can do that.
Okay.
Can we get a motion on those?
Wait, wait, wait.
Oh, yeah.
Is the 14 currently going to 11th Avenue at all?
It seems like my take was yes. Like that it's just going, it's not circling back. I think it was like to circle back.
Okay.
Is that what he's saying?
No,
It wasn't totally fair, I wasn't totally fair. That was my.
That's what that's what he was saying, that every time I go, we're meetings up there at that office, I end up like the stop, it's like, oh, 15th and 11th, and it
Never
never
goes, that turns here on.
So maybe we can just.
No, but maybe he's saying it's 15 and 11 because there is whole structure.
No. Yeah.
Road stops. It was 18 minutes.
Well, but also if
Well,
one
we
of the,
can
I
walk
also
on
count
and
one,
figure it out.
14A and 14D do different things, and one, yes.
Well, there.
And one turns and one goes to, I don't know.
I thought it was all these things.
Okay.
You guys.
I'm not touching this because I don't get it, but, alright. The three things that we understood, and we can do, a motion for those three things.
Yeah.
That's what he's saying. Right,
Motion, alright.
Yeah.
Second, alright, so all those in favor of that?
yes.
I'm sure, thank you for those online. Before, one more time, Miriam, I see you're with us now. You want, a
So
minute?
what else? It's we have item 3, which is new business.
You just gotta unmute yourself. There you go.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I did just want to say I appreciate all the work and attention is being given to these issues. I have been in touch with Edmund Asiadu from the DOT, who said that they are now actively recruiting more staff, that they don't have anybody currently to work on a lot of this, that the request that CB4 made way back in January for 23rd Street is on a list, but I said, is there a date that this is going to be looked at? And he said no. I think that it might be a time to think about connecting with electeds. Eric Botcher is aware of some of these issues, and they may be able to intervene to get things moving if there's a real delay. Because I think it may just be a letter that's going to be filed. Nothing's going to happen for a long time.
I don't know what a reasonable amount of time is.
No, I don't know, but I mean,
Yeah.
Miriam, you are the best position to call Eric and say, nothing is happening because you made the call, they told you something, and now you need to tell him, raise that issue with him and the other elected. Okay.
I think Carl has been working on it. He's on vacation. He'll be back on the 17th, and I can contact him when he's back and just tell him that we're concerned that the letter, or you might want to talk to him, Jesse. I think you've already had a conversation. And you said
Bugging Carl is one of my favorite pastimes, so I'm happy to do it.
I don't hear you that well. I'm sorry.
I said I love bugging Carl, so I'd be happy to call him too, so it's not a problem.
Okay.
Great, thank you, Miriam, thank you so much for hanging out and listening. Great. We'll
Okay.
see you in September. All right, and well, now we're just finishing up with Port Authority update and then we're done.
Yeah. So Port Authority, we had one of our famous working groups meeting. And they showed us what they were going to do to rebuild the ramps. You know, while they are constructing the buildings of the ramps, etc., they still need to operate the terminal. So they are going to build additional ramps, and one of them is going to be over 40th Street. Suspended over 40th Street. Suspended? Well, yeah, it's a ramp, I mean, it's with pillars or whatever. And from Dyer to Gavin Plaza, and then.
For cars or for pedestrians? For cars or for pedestrians?
No, for buses.
For buses, okay.
Right. Because, I mean, there are no more cars in the terminal.
This is for people going into the terminal.
No, this is for buses going in the terminal or going out of the terminal.
Traffic into it.
In and out, right, because they need to take those ramps outside of the footprint of the building. Whilst they are building the building, they can't have the ramps in and out. And then there is another ramp, which is going to be rebuilt. This is currently going on 39th for you who live around there, 39th Street, you know, that little round, right? And they are going to rebuild that, and that's now the buses are going to go over 9th Avenue. And then on 39th Street, and then 39th Street is going to be closed. So I just want everybody to know what's going on, and they told us that, and yeah. There's not much, there's not much we can do, except we gave them some hints. We said, you know, what is, if you have a ramp and the space below, you need to enclose the space below, so we don't have, you know, encampment there, right, etc. So small changes which are going to hopefully happen, but, so that's it, that's the latest.
Thank you. Rare opportunity for if anyone has anything they'd like to mention now. I don't wanna, you know,
We don't have
wrap it, we don't have to, but if anyone else have anything they'd like to bring up, complaints, you have a complaint.
So the gateway project,
Yes,
right, so they're making this presentations now because everything's
Yes.
being moved around, they cut off what part of the heliport. So the question becomes is, what's happening to the cars that are parking there now? And are they moving somewhere else where at the end of the day, they can stay somewhere else?
well, I had a meeting with the HRPT this morning, but first of all, yeah, the parking is going to move on in another space, right? But the real question is what is going to happen to the heliport at the end of the gateway? And, you know, to TBD.
That's another story.
Right. So there is no determination of whether, how it pans out at the end.
But what I'm saying is maybe we could try to influence the parking situation, start to chip away at the heliport a little bit. Because if they're gonna be moving somewhere else, which, you know, the for hire cars will stop and pick up. They can do it down the road when this whole thing is.
Right. So we're not there yet. We are having a discussion. It's very, very sensitive because there are lawsuits, there are, I mean, you know, there's supposed to be an RFI, an RFP. There are a lot of legal requirements. And anything you do could trip one of those requirements. So there is very careful, I don't want to say, there is not even a discussion, there is a review of what are the legal requirements right now. To try to understand that. Yes.
I've been on this subject, and Ellen and I are on Chelsea land use, and she brought up a really good point last month. So our meeting, Chelsea land use, something happening on 25th between 10th and 11th. However, the business will have to do it with transportation, like moving. It's a storage company that's moving in over there. And I thought she brought up a really good point, because Chelsea land use is more about the structure of the building.
Yeah.
But what happens when you have the business is about transportation?
You should send them to transportation.
Okay.
And you should say, we can't approve you until the transportation has
Mhm.
ruled.
And how do we send them? So what
What
Chelsea
we
land
send
use?
them is like, pick up the phone to Janine and Jesse and say, hey,
Oh,
this has to go to transportation.
to ask them to check.
Did Mark say he was gonna do that?
No, he said he would include it in the letter, like make a mention of it.
But see, the letter is too late. Once you do the letter, then,
Okay, okay.
Okay, that's good.
so what should happen is that,
We should have them come to us.
right,
To talk.
was that an EIS or was that, what was it?
It was, no, it was really
Landmark.
about the structure of the building.
Right.
Yeah, landmark stuff.
Because we have done that before, where for the landmark,
Yeah.
you remember the part on the sidewalk?
Yes.
And then they were sent to us, where we could say, no way, right?
So we have our Chelsea land use on Monday. I'm not sure how that's gonna.
You
But
just-
I'll mention it to Greg, that again,
Let me just say, did you send it to transportation, because they need to see it?
that we should see.
But it is a good reminder for, just first, to the extent you're on your other committees and you feel like, be on the lookout for things that should be here, feel free, please vouch for us and say, it needs to come before us. David?
Just quickly, I don't know if I heard you correctly, Christine. Is 39th Street going to be closed because of the Port Authority permanently or just during construction?
Well, during construction is 10 years. So I don't know whether,
Almost permanent.
I don't know whether you categorize that as. That's a temporary closure. It's a temporary closure.
Long term.
So wait, no, to be honest, I mean, that's a good question, David. I'm not sure the full, but all the buses are going to arrive there to be over on the deck over. So that means that there is going to be a continuous flow of buses coming in there. So my guess is it's going to be closed for 10 years, but I don't know. I'm not, I was not told exactly that.
Okay. Well, with that, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Yes.
See that motion, second.
All right.
Amazing, thank you all so much.
Thank
Well, I will see you on the full board, obviously, but if I don't see you, have a wonderful rest of your summer. And oh yeah, there's the social, I hope if people are around in July, we have the full board, and then the next night, there's the MCB4 social, so I hope I see you all there. I will be there for the.
On
the first
vacation.
Yes.
Doing it for 2 weeks.
We have to get these letters out ASAP, and not because
Right.
the meeting is early next week, so just be on the lookout for draft coming into your inbox.
So we have 1 letter, 2 letters, Chelsea, and then 2 letters. One about the Dyer Avenue and one about the bus, right?
Yeah, so we'll put this together, yeah, we'll figure it out. Okay, anyway, goodbye, thank you so much, thanks for online, bye everybody.
Hi, guys.